You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk 1150 AM. Now, back to the show with local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell.
You are listening to the Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, February 5th show. You can also listen to my show podcast, my show Facebook premiere, or my show on the show YouTube channel. In addition, for more information on any of my upcoming events, please go to tinamitchellevents.com. I am your host and your local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. And I'm here to help you build a strong financial blueprint 1 week and one show at a time. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. I'm here to answer any questions or connect you with the two guests that I have on the show today. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And now in studio, Claire Seitz of Coldwell Banker Bain, standing out authentically right here on 1150 AM KKNW. Claire, really excited to have a conversation with you in regards to real estate and your topic, standing out authentically. Yes, you definitely have to stand out. And standing out authentically makes it even better. So what is your best advice for standing out in a saturated real estate market like we have today?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm really just so grateful and appreciative to be able to talk to you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I guess every time you tell somebody you're in real estate, they say, oh, I have a friend who's in real estate. Oh, I have a blank who's in real estate. It's like, obviously there's a lot of real estate agents who have a lot of friends, which is great. But that just means you have to figure out a way to make yourself stand out and make yourself be the person that people think of and make sure that you're the person that is getting the job done for people. And my advice is to find the thing that makes you who you are. And I mean, obviously that's a lot easier said than done, but we all have our quirks, we all have our things. And once you can figure it out and like really pin that needle, you can just run with it. Just go as fast and hard as you can with it. And it's just amazing how many people are like just inspired by people who are willing to be themselves and be vulnerable. And just, I think that that's the best way to stand out in an authentic way, is to just know who you are and run with it as hard and fast as you can.
Yeah, such great advice, Claire, for anybody that's listening to the show that runs a business or is in any type of sales and needs to connect with potential clients at a high level. You do need to connect authentically. You need to connect as your unique self. And as Claire says, what makes you who you are and special, because people are going to connect with you as your authentic self. They're going to connect with your story and why you do what you do. And then through that, you're actually opening up the space and the opportunity for them to be vulnerable with you. And that's why I created my keynote where I share my story of tragedy to triumph. It's a way to give back to my community. But it was a long journey, and I wrote my book, Journey with Me. Since I'm giving a shout out, if you go to tinamitchellevents.com and you like a complimentary copy of my book, I would love to give that to you. But it was a journey and a process for me to go through that and to actually be willing to be my authentic self and share the tragedies and bad decisions that I made in my life, because it didn't feel appropriate in professional business. And not only not appropriate, but really just to hide who I really was. And that is the worst thing that you need to do. Lead with who you are. That's why you're here and why you are the person. And through that process, people are going to connect with you. And the ones that don't, that's fine. They're not your perfect client. And the two of you are not meant to work together anyways, because we're not going to be right for everyone. So Claire, thank you for that. Claire, why and how did you get into the real estate business? We talked a little bit about, life experience and got you here. If you want to expand a little bit more on that or share something in addition.
Yeah, I really have just wanted to do real estate forever. And I went to college and got a degree in marketing. I did marketing for a while, and I just wasn't being fulfilled. And I know that the goals and dreams I have are not going to be achieved by just sitting in an office and just being a cog in the machine. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And I was just chatting with my roommate and I was like, okay, why am I applying for all of these stupid jobs that I don't even want? What do I want to do? And she introduced me to her realtor, who introduced me to my now designated broker, Lori Way, who I absolutely love.
Oh my gosh, you'll have to tell Lori Way I said hi and she needs to come back into studio.
I will tell her. I'm meeting with her after. I love her.
But give her a big, well, if you guys are getting face-to-face, hug and kiss and say hi to Amanda as well.
Yeah, I literally could not be more grateful just to have a manager, and the support that I've gotten is like, wow, it really is totally cool to be who you want to be. And like you said, you're not going to be everyone's favorite realtor, and that's fine. At the end of the day, you don't want to be invited to their parties anyways. So, yeah, I guess that's basically how I got here. But I have always wanted to do this. So
yeah. Well, Claire, how do you respond to people who doubt you?
So it was kind of tied into my most memorable experience, is that I kind of everybody can think that anybody is nice and whatever and young and all of those things. But when you can prove that you can actually do the work and do it really well, that's when people's perceptions of you start to change. And especially, most importantly, your perceptions in yourself. So within like 4 days of getting licensed, somebody found me on the internet, asked me to take him to a showing. We saw the showing, put in an offer, went into mutual acceptance. And this was within like 7 days of me having my license.
Wow.
And everybody was like, that does not happen. Mm-hmm. You, like, the sun is shining on you. You're in the right place. And that was when the perception started to change. And if anyone did doubt me, it's just like, haha.
Uh-huh.
Not really, but it's just kind of, when people doubt you or just think you're young or think you're a nice girl or quirky, or you like to do crafts or whatever and don't take you seriously, then you just prove them wrong, and you add that fuel to your success fire. That's what I call.
Well, and I think the word that you used is, it's, perception, but it's the perception you have of yourself. And so no matter where you're at in your career, whether it's day one or it's over a quarter century in the industry, there's different perceptions that can come up from other people that can change your perception if you don't work on that and have confidence of wherever you're at right now. We're all learning from mistakes that we will continue to make. And through those mistakes is what makes us an expert at what we do, because that's how we learn things. And so, love that, Claire. So I know you're a graduate of college that you mentioned, but I'd love to ask you, do you feel that college is a necessary step to build a successful career?
I really love this question, because for me, I was not a class learner. I'm just like the person who's trying my hardest to listen, but there's no way, like, it's just not going to stick with me. So for me, I think it was really necessary for me to go to college, because I had so many great life experiences where you're just building up that resiliency, and learning more and more about yourself. And it's a great connection, but for everybody, I don't honestly think going to college is necessary. And I think that is shifting. That mindset that you have to go to college is shifting. And I think that's great, because I think there are a lot of people who can skip that step and go right into real estate or whatever they feel.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that that's a great shift in the culture.
Yeah. And for sure, not taking anything away from college because it depends on what career you want to get into. But I will say to be successful, you don't have to have a high IQ. I don't. You don't have to graduate from Ivy League college. I never went to college and barely made it out of high school. You don't have to come from a wealthy family. I definitely did not. All you need to do is have a dream, know your why behind the dream, and then be willing to work very hard to reach that dream. And you're either going to college and getting educated there, or you're going to college in the workforce and getting on the job education. And so I think either way in the direction, again, disclosure being depending on what type of industry you want to get in. But if you want to be a real estate agent or a mortgage professional like I am, I definitely agree with Claire. So what is the advice that you have for young people that are trying to buy real estate, Claire?
So yeah, right now is so hard
Yeah.
for buyers. I mean, it's obviously is very possible and stuff, but the market right now, there's just not very much inventory, obviously. So my advice, I mean, obviously, if you can put yourself in a position where you can buy now and talk to your lenders, talk to people about the different ways you can get a property for yourself, that's the best case scenario. But if you can't, I think really having a dream and a goal of where you want to live, why you want to live there, think about it every day. And instead of buying coffee every day, do the little things. Stop spending money on things that you don't necessarily need every day. And it's really quite amazing how fast money starts to save up when you're intentional about it. So
absolutely, the foundation of budgeting at a high level is always having something really big that you want to save for. And that's what Clara says. You want a home, save for that home. And then through that process of wanting something, you're minimizing what you're spending. And the other piece of that is always writing down every time or tracking every time that you spend money, because the more that you actually physically make note of it, the less it's going to be that you're going to buy that cup of coffee or go out for dinner instead of making dinner at home. So great advice. So when you know that you have to do something scary, overwhelming, or it's new, what do you do?
So I have a lot of mantras that I repeat to myself during the day. And one of my favorite movies, We Bought a Zoo, this is a quote from there. He says, one of the guys says, you just only ever need 20 seconds of courage to do anything. Anybody can do anything in 20 seconds. And I just think that it's really helpful, because if you, for example, like for this, I will be nervous for 20 seconds and that's it. And then it's just a conversation. So I think just focusing on that 20 seconds, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And then once you're done with it, you feel so good and it's much better.
Yeah. And in that 20 seconds, though, that 20 seconds can lead you to stress if you get stuck in that trap and you get stuck in that initial, right? I mean, your adrenaline's going to either take you down or you're going to be stronger than you ever would in that moment. And I think it's, in that 20 seconds and making that commitment, it's getting excited instead of letting that adrenaline take you down. So we have just a couple minutes left, Claire, and I would love, when choosing a firm, and I'd love to end with this question, because Lori Way is obviously a seasoned agent, been in, the top in real estate in volume, has gone into, brokering and managing other agents. How did you choose the firm to work with and to go with Coldwell Banker Bain?
Yeah, so I got basically introduced, and it was so fabulous. It was literally so great. So my connection to Lori, he came in here, talked to Lori Way, and said, you need to get Claire on your team. And Lori called me and said, Claire, I heard that I need to get you on my team. Come into the office and let's chat. And I went in and I was like, OMG, this is the most beautiful office in the world. And plus just to support that Lori, and honestly, everyone here is like there's no need to compete with each other because there's an abundance of success that's out there. And when you lift people up, it lifts yourself up too. So that was really important for me as I was choosing. And I think for other people that are looking for firms and things, like, you just really have to focus on how it makes you feel when you're in the office.
Yeah.
Which maybe it's a little whatever, but I just think you listen to your gut and be like, okay, this feels right. And because you're going to be spending a lot of time with these people, hopefully, if it goes well.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Claire, again, give a shout out to Lori. Lori actually came in about 7 years ago when I did my first One Time Your Business 8-week burn complimentary time management and business efficiency course. Ask her about it, because you'll have to come hang out with me virtually for 8 weeks, since Lori's a graduate and she is your broker, right?
Yeah, right.
If you're listening to the show, go to onetimeyourbusiness.com. It is a complimentary 8-week course for any business professionals. And the why behind it is so that you can live the life that you want to live. And you cannot do that without running a high efficiency business model. Claire, thank you so much for coming into the show. If you're listening to the show and you're looking for real estate expert service for buying and selling real estate, please reach out to Claire. You can call into the show. Or Claire, what's the best number to reach you at?
Okay, 206-758-7126.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I'm right away on it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Claire. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you.